Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kev Play. This is Kevin, and we are on episode 40 of The Last of Us Part 2. Oh, what happened here? DualShock 4 disconnected. Why is that? Okay. But yes, episode 40, Last of Us Part 2. Um, Last time we came back across, Abby went back to Yara and Liv, and found out that Yara's in very poor health. She basically shattered her forearm, and it's looking like she needs to get it amputated. And we're trying to get cross a shortcut back to, I think back to the WLF to get supplies to the hospital or something. So. Hey, Peppa Pig, how's it going? I mean, we did rummaging through this last time, so I'm not going to dwell on all the stuff. But I think we picked this up last time. I'm not going to read it, because I already read it. We got a safe here. I think they gave us a combination before. So it's been like 2 weeks. Obviously, we were busy playing stuff, and some notable stuff has happened since. For one, let's just get it out of the way. Concord is dead, pretty much, and it's done. Like, they recalled it. They ended the service after like a week or two. And yeah, Sony was taking some big fat L's, that's for sure. Concord's done, and that 8 year, all that money spent on production, all that, for whatever they were, they were working on a basically decent, but not something that's really marketable, and not something that was really selling hero shooter. And nobody really cared for it. Nobody was really there in the beta. That was already a red flag, and we definitely know the Steam numbers were very low. So I think it was like 10,000 maybe at most. Not good. Probably Sony's biggest blunder ever in terms of a first-party game, and it's hopefully they can learn from it, because it's just it's not what people wanted. We wanted factions. We want games that appeal to the audience, even if it's not necessarily a Killzone or a SOCOM or Resistance. We want games that appeal to, it's like not that you don't want to try new things. Like, yeah, I mean, you do want to try new things, but who was this for, really? And let's be clear. I don't think it was because it was a woke game, because they included pronouns or anything. I don't think really people cared about that at the end. At the end of the day, I think it was just the game just looked bland. The characters looked boring. The art design didn't look at all like very appealing at all. And it looked like a rehash of like Guardians of the Galaxy, those type of games that we've seen a million times before. So, bro, I laughed so hard when I heard that, and it's like, the writing was on the wall. This is what happens if you don't listen, and I hope that Sony takes this as a lesson to start listening. Especially when Hiroki Totoki, the guy who's like the temporary CEO for now or whatever, he said, like, he came out saying, like, we don't really have any IP or any intellectual property to build off of. It's like, what do you mean? There's so many, and we've been it's been something that's been like, fans have been letting Sony know forever, but I don't know. What do we know? Yeah, you can try new this. Look at Helldivers 2 is a perfect example. It actually filled a void and was very reminiscent of old multiplayer games for me, but in a new with a new spin on it, and it was unique in its gameplay and in its presentation, and it's fun. The physics engine is hilarious. It's a great cooperative game. It brought my PC friends and me together more, and I still want to jump back into that game again soon. Um, yeah, it was a disc. Concord was a discount Overwatch, and you saw that from the beginning. I don't know. They said they're going to go away and try to reevaluate what they have, but it just seems like it's dead. Maybe they can use the assets for something else, but I, I don't know. It just seems like a whole headache at this point. Maybe they can make a free to play, but I don't know. It's like even when it was a free beta, nobody really cared. So it's my IP to sit on and do nothing with. Yeah, and then um, let's be honest. Yeah, it's not coming back. And if it does come back, I don't even care. Like I'm not. It's not worth my time. I'm really like I am interested. Like I think it's really cool that there were a handful of people that platinumed the game before it got taken down. So they pretty much have like the one of the rarest platinums uh, in PlayStation history, probably. Or at least one of them. Even if you have a physical copy of Concord, that's going to be probably like a lot of money someday. Uh, but yeah, what a mess. I want to look at my this thing to see if they gave me a code. Flip. Yeah, 69 people platinumed it. Yeah, which is funny. Yeah, I saw that tweet. A combo is our apartment number, then your apartment number. Take everything and get out here. Okay, so I gotta look at the apartment numbers. We'll come back in here. Right now we're in the one apartment, so... Which door do I go through, though? There's another bedroom. I'll keep what I have there. I wanted to stream last week, but I had like I got hit with a cold, so I'm still kind of recovering from it. But right now I feel kind of okay to do this. Um, yeah, and then the other thing that came out, which not as big of an L as Concord, but still not something that people really are too happy about, is the reveal of the PlayStation Pro, a PS5 Pro, the mid-gen refresh console, which Mark Cerny did a presentation on. Um, and the specs are like, they're aiming for 120 frames per second, running at 4K, uh, and what have you. But oh, excuse me. But yeah, the price point being $700. That's it's steep. No disk drive too. No disk drive and no stand. No vertical stand. Which for me, from my perspective, is I don't ever put any of my consoles vertically. I don't know about you. I just don't like the idea of my console being vertical when I'm using discs. I never trusted their hardware design that the disc is being secured properly when it's vertical. I've heard I've heard weird rumors that if you do that over time, then it might not be good for the disc or so. But I could be wrong. That could just be a fairy tale for all I know. Your PS5 is vertical. I mean, it's a space issue, I guess. It definitely keeps it makes it more. I'm not opposed to it. I feel like the PS5 out of any of the PlayStation consoles is more designed to be vertical, you know. But I think this is the apartment door, so let's check this. Um, but so there be no vertical stand for me. I wouldn't have cared. First of all, I'm not getting a mid. I'm never getting a pro console anyway. I usually just update my consoles when it's the base console comes out. So the PS6 will be my next console, but I feel like the price. You think about like inflation and stuff. Yeah, it's still steep regardless. That's still not a that's a very ugly number to be paying for a console. Um, but I feel like these mid-gen consoles, they're more for like no, it's more of a novelty purchase for like the real enthusiasts of console gaming. Oh, I have a new follower. Bass Arnon02. Nice. Thank you. Um and so like it's like I feel like the audience for the pro consoles, I feel like they're going to get it regardless. Even if you're getting the disc drive though, it's like now you're inching more towards $800. So yeah, it's definitely not good. But and I don't like the idea of first with the PS4 they came out with like the digital versus the physical version. I believe, right? Yeah, they did. And then same thing with PS5. And now with the mid-gen console, they're detaching they're not even giving a physical version. They're making you pay separately for the disc drives. I don't like the direction that's going in for the future of consoles. A lot of people are saying by the PS6 it's probably going to be the same story. It's almost like Sony's putting their foot in the door and testing the water to see if people are going to put up with that, and it looks like more or less it's leaning that way, that people are willing to pay for a separate disc drive if they have to. Meaning when the PS6 comes out, they'll probably I could see them selling it that way, where there is no physical disc drive version anymore. It's just a uniform console that you can add a disc drive to. And I don't like the idea of that, but it's not the end of the world, I guess, as long as they provide the option. But okay, this is the apartment. One of the apartment numbers is 302. Let's keep that in mind. Sony is basically telling us to buy digital, and I don't think like I don't like I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people who buy digital, but just because there's probably more people who buy digital than physical doesn't mean the physical market is dead. It's actually very much alive. And Sony's always been a big supporter of their physical media, whether Blu-rays in general. So I don't. I think they're trying to push us towards that, but I don't think they're. I don't think they're gonna have. I don't think the outcome is that physical is going away or anything. I think that's too much of an extreme leap to conclude, but um, it's just telling of the times that they're starting to. Okay, thank God I don't have to go down. All right, that's fine. They're starting to nudge people in one direction versus the other, and whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. As long as I can play, especially since apparently they just came out with the PS6. They're in working like a contract out with the AMD in order for AMD to design their components so that backwards compatibility can work properly. And what I'm guessing is it's at best, or at the very least, they're going to try to get PS4 and PS5 backwards compatible for PS6. And if that's the case, obviously, with my whole library of games from PS4, PS5, I want to be able to still pop those discs in. So we'll see. Um, as long as the option's there, that's more than enough I'll take. But in the meantime, I think people should be voicing their concern about that as much as they can. Um, a PlayStation Pro console with no disc drive is pretty extreme to me. And definitely, that's definitely, especially since you're paying $700 for no disc drive. It's supposed to be the Pro console. Yeah, no, that's an L from Sony, without a doubt. I just don't think it's. Was there another apartment over here, by the way, that I didn't see? Here's the apartment I came out of, 302 and 304. Okay, let's try to check that out. 302, 304. I think they're neighbors. So. And 04. Nice.
Did it.
Beautiful. What's the story with my pills right now? Listen mode clarity. I feel like I always say no, I'm not going to do that, but I like the increased health at the end as a reward, but whatever. Let's see what else there is. This is already done. Momentum. I can't do that, okay. Crafting incendiary shells, a gun. Crafting hunting pistol ammo. Faster aim movement, craft more. And what's the last one? Faster crafting. I guess faster crafting would be nice. Improve melee weapon, improve pipe bomb, improve silencers, craft more pipe bombs. This would be nice, but I feel like it's very light on the. Oh, I guess I can do both of these. Okay, let's just do that. Get faster crafting, and then let's do this. That way we'll have more options later on. Okay. Now, can we talk about Sony's one debut? And a big debut at that. Definitely. Astrobot has been released. 94 from critics on Metacritic. I think 96 last time I checked from players. Awesome game, like 10 out of 10s all over the place. The accolades trailer I just saw, like, VGC gave it a 10 out of 10. Game Informer, I think. All the notable outlets that I like seem to, but doesn't matter what they think. It's what we think, and I played the game. I platinumed it, and I think it's one of the most excellent platformers I've ever played. It's probably up there with one of my favorite games of all time, dude. It is such a joy to play that game. I was just grinning from ear to ear throughout the whole thing. Every level is creative and new and unique and catches you by surprise in the most delightful way. It's the game's just full of smiles, and it's of that spirit of like a Nintendo, kind of like the Mario type games or Kirby. It definitely reminded me of like the bottom line being fun in games that you would get from a lot of Nintendo's games back in the day. Like, I love Crash and Spyro very much. And Jak and all those Sony games too. But there's something about the bottom line of a game of a platformer just being fun, like just have fun, reward curiosity, and not and be challenging, but not in a way where, like honestly, the challenging like X circle triangle square levels in Astrobot, they were very challenging, but you kept wanting to keep doing it. Like it's not like, oh, Crash 4, let's do this 5 minute time trial where you're going to be pulling your hair out by the end of it if you can even do it, and you got to be mashing the spin button a million times. Like that's like the antithesis of what Astrobot excels in my opinion. Is that it's about fun, it's about challenge, but it's about finding that balance in the most entertaining and most engaging way, and I think it does that so well. Um, yeah, it's just a big PlayStation ad, but it's such a fun game, and that's the thing, and that's um, what originally drew me to the game. And honestly, I don't even know if I would have. I know it's been a light year for Sony in terms of single player games, especially from their first party. But the big draw to me, as much as I love platformers, the big draw to me was the collectathon of all of and celebrating PlayStation's 30-year history, and you're going to be collecting all these obscure to well-known uh, PlayStation characters dressed or Astrobot guys dressed as PlayStation characters, and that was the draw to me. Like I love it when a collectible is fun like that. God of War Ragnarok did something very similar where you were collecting like not Greek, Norse poems, but each poem was actually about a first party Sony IP. This was like that times 20. Um, and I don't know if I would have got this game or been in a hurry to get this game if it wasn't for that draw. But after having played the game now, sorry. After having played the game now, the platforming holds its own. Even if the game didn't have the collectathon, the game is incredible on its own. And I feel like by the end of the game, you realize that. And honestly, I mean, I won't get too spoilery, but that ending, I feel like is the perfect. It's the perfect. What's it called? Payoff to what you've been playing for that last, however long it took to play, where um, where Astrobot does something that's very like a very big brave thing that he does at the very end of the game, which honestly I teared up. I didn't expect a game with barely any story at all to make me feel emotional, and it was almost like something out of Pixar, like a Wall-E or a Toy Story 3 type thing for me. Like,
Huh.
sorry.
How long you been using that thing?
My bow? Since forever.
I'm good with it.
You should have seen Yara. Why did they do that to her?
Let me just finish this conversation. I'll pick up where my thought was.
We can be cruel.
My mom would say that. About wolves.
Well, she wasn't wrong.
I'm scared for her.
Why?
People will blame her for what I did.
Liv shaved her head, his head. But yeah, let's go back to that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I actually did tear up because when he like looks at all the characters and he makes that decision to do what he does, that's when you realize Astrobot isn't just a game that just is a vehicle to showcase all these PlayStation IP and lean into that nostalgia. But after playing the game and playing as Astrobot and using the different power ups and uh, understanding the charm of the game and the world and the the joy that the game brings, you realize that Astrobot as a character is more than just a vehicle for that nostalgia. He's the character that brought everyone together in a way. Like, Nintendo has their Smash, which brings all this crossover stuff together, and for the longest time we've been trying to imitate that. We have PlayStation All Stars, which was really just like a a knockoff copy of Smash. It's a good game, but it's games like this where it's like it's something new. It's taking a completely different genre, not a side-scrolling fighting genre or brawler, but taking the platform genre, which is where where Sony or PlayStation games have always originated from, and taking that genre and making it something where it brings all those memories we've had playing these games forever together. And that's what he represents in a way. Is that harmony, and I felt that at the end, and the harmony of like bringing everyone together, regardless if you're the mature rated game or the child friendly game. There's so many experiences that we've had on this console or these series of consoles that it's something special, and that's something to celebrate. And Astrobot did that. So of course he was the character that did what he had to do at the very end of the game. And my God, I that whole scene, like, and then when you're trying to like the whole thing where you're just like, sorry, I'm coughing. The whole thing where spoilers. Turn off if you don't want to hear more, but basically where you have to like put them back together and try to revive them and do like the heart surgery and everything, and all the characters are coming together to like make this like that's such a cool moment. And you're holding you're holding Astrobot like a baby. That was that was such an adorable moment. Like it's stuff like that we need more of that in games. And I really enjoyed that. But I wouldn't have felt this if I didn't feel that by the end of the game that the platform as a platformer, Astrobot is amazing. A game like Astrobot makes me question now if there's a Crash 5 or a Spyro 4. I hope Toys for Bob brings their A game. They brought their A game for Crash 4, and it's an excellent game. But I feel like Astrobot kind of raised the bar in terms of like the physics engine, the balancing of like challenge and just pure fun, and the way the game plays. Like I feel like Astrobot's just perfect. Whereas, not to say Crash 4 is not perfect, but I feel like it's not for a universal audience. It's for the hardcore player more than the hardcore platformer who they like Crash, but it's like, what else can they do? Like I feel like there's more. Looking back at Crash 4, which was one of the great platformers of the end of last generation, transitioning into this one, I feel like Astrobot kind of shows that there's so much more you can do with a platformer than just expanding on what we loved about the original trilogy of Crash, or or Spyro or whatever. There's something new and something else you can do, other than just adding new characters or new move sets or whatever. Like I would hope that a Toys for Bob's next game, they don't try to flesh out their next game with let's add all these inverted levels and try to meet the requirement of it being a $60 game by making it this like very long and padded out with all these collectibles and gems and stuff. Like, simplify, make it more of a tighter game, and work on like Astrobot and make it a more build the production per square inch of what that game is by being more innovative and inventive with like the physics and the the play styles and stuff like that. I think Crash 4 did a great job with that, but I feel like I could see that the bar has been raised more, that we can there's so much more they can do for a sequel, and same thing with Spyro. It makes me excited to think about what can be done in a platformer game I like. So. Anyway, that's just some of my thoughts. Oh god. What's the best course of action here, and what do I have to work with? I have a shotgun. Can they see me? Oh my god, I can hear like a roaring... I can jump in. Okay, we gotta get this guy out of the way. But if I do, I gotta be able to get... let's see what I can do. I can't jump through. Damn it. Is chat working? Oh, now it's working. I see. Yeah, you said quality is greater than quantity. Yeah, that's exactly my point, and that's what. Yeah, I agree with that. It took me 14 hours to platinum Astrobot, and that game is awesome. Yep. It took me like it took me a little longer, not because it was difficult for me, but just because I was going back and forth between the crash site and completing the levels, because I like to see gradually build, like all the new characters I was getting and stuff. And knowing me, like I like to like absorb the world probably more than I should, but there was so much to watch, so much to like soak in with that game. Like the game really rewards your curiosity, like just by just by like the aesthetics, and even like little places you can go to that really have no collectible, but will give you like a coin or something to get to. Like there was just so much that I was just having fun exploring. Alright, I'm just gonna blow this guy away, I guess. Holy shit. Whew. But yeah, it should be working now. That's all you said, right?
You okay?
Yes. How many Seraphites have you killed?
Yeah, I can see you just said
Why?
testing.
Curious.
I don't know.
All I know is I'm glad I put those incendiary rounds on the shotgun, because that helped. What do I want to do here? Explore this room first. I'm glad that they put like one of the bots that I was really glad that they included was the Tony Hawk Pro Skater bot, which I just called Tony Hawk. But I'm glad that they, even though it's a third-party game, but that was a very important game for the beginning of PlayStation for me. So I'm glad that it was included. Obviously Crash and Spyro. There were some games I was kind of like, I wish they kind of included. Like, I would have liked to see, like, the Resistance, maybe a Resistance character, like a Chimera, or... Maybe even more than just the three Helghast from Killzone. Maybe like actual characters, like the protagonists. Um, but who knows? Maybe there's always DLC and sequels that they can do that can expand on this. I would have liked to see like the squad from SOCOM, like their names were Kahuna, Boomer, Jester, and Spectre. That would have been an obscure reference, I feel like, but a lot of people would have got it. Stuff like that. Like I was thinking of like obscure ones they could have done for PS1, like Jersey Devil or Blasto. Like that would have been cool. But there was a lot. Like I was surprised by how much was included. I also really like the PlayStation character levels. Yes, when you beat the boss of each galaxy, excellent. I love that and the music that they would make with it. And by the way, the soundtrack in this game, incredible. I still have the soundtrack in my head, like at work. I'm at work, not listening to like physical music, but I hear the music in my head or where I'm driving to work or whatever. Specifically, what's the song that always gets in my head? Oh, the rapping Papa Tree song and um the main song, like the Crash Site soundtrack. But yeah, I liked how they used like God of War and Uncharted and Horizons soundtracks. That Loco Roco game, which I think was a level included in PlayStation All Stars, or a part or like part of a level. It was very cute with like the little kids singing. Um, yeah, there was just so much fun in that game, so much joy from not just from my gameplay design, but like the sound design was great. Like I like how you can hear the people you're trying to rescue off camera, and it like even without the 3D audio headset or whatever, you can still hear kind of like the general direction they're coming from. And by the way, I didn't use that bird. I am Astrobot. Oh my god! And the song with the GPU, the cooling fan, and the SSD singing like SSD, like that was carried over from Astro's Playroom. But I'm so glad they included it again because that was a lot of pretty cool. Yeah, the Loco Roco level was my favorite. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. What was I gonna say? But yeah, the sound design was great. Everything was great. Um, where am I going? I guess I'm going this way. I'm surprised Spider-Man is nowhere to be seen in this game. I mean, I thought that too, but my best guess is it's probably something to do with Marvel. Maybe it's more expensive to include him, even though they own him. They own the rights to have him as an exclusive from Insomniac. Um, but I don't know if there's like some weird thing where they just can't. It's just like harder to get. Maybe some copyright issue somehow, even though Sony is involved with Marvel Spider-Man. I don't know. I feel like they could have got them. It's the same thing with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2, where in the original Tony Hawk 2, Spider-Man is a secret character, but in the remake they didn't include him, which I'm guessing had to do with some copyright issue or something. But that's from Activision, so I don't know why Sony would have had trouble. But maybe there still is some weird legal loophole why it would have been tougher to include them. Yeah, it would have been cool to see him, Miles. Venom. What we got here?
God damn it.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Isn't he a wolf?
There are thousands of us. Do you know every scar?
Stop calling us scars.
Sure.
Horace, Aaron will trade up for flour, cigarettes, salt, canned fruit, toothpaste, tampons/pads, any spices, cumin, oregano, red pepper, turmeric, cinnamon, etc. So keep your eyes peeled. We could sure use the extra ammo from her. Were these the people they were talking about in that previous note? I don't know. I heard a weird creaking noise from over here, so I'm wondering if someone's like right around the corner. Yeah, someone's like rummaging upstairs or something. Like. But God, Astrobot was so fun. I'm so like watching. I'm actually watching people's reactions to like the gameplay. Like, what's great about that game is it's probably going to make a great Let's Play for people because there's so much to react to in that game. So it's fun seeing other people's reactions to it. I feel like I would do a playthrough of it at some point, but I need to give myself distance from it again. Give some time between before I ever return to that. What do I want to do? Maybe something with this thing. Capacity. Yeah, suit capacity. Oh no, capacity we have. Stability, sure, why not? And speaking of, what else have you been playing? So right now, after Astrobot, oh, by the way, did I mention that I don't think I mentioned it. Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah, because last time I said I wasn't sure if I was going to beat it in time, but I did. I beat Bioshock Infinite. I didn't platinum it, but I beat it. Probably one of my favorite Bioshock games. A lot of fun. Really interesting ending. I don't know if you know, but Troy Baker is actually the protagonist. Voices the protagonist in the game. I don't know if I mentioned that last time, but I think I did. I think I mentioned that last time, but yeah, it was that was a really good game from 2013. Yeah, I very much enjoyed that game. And now it's like I'm ready for either Judas next year, or maybe I'll pick up System Shock, which was the remake, the PS1 remake from last year, which is supposed to be really great. Other than that, I'm actually on track to platinuming another game, which is kind of crazy because I didn't realize that I was so close to platinuming it. A game from 7 years ago, and I have one trophy left to do, and I might actually get it tonight if I play it later, or tomorrow in the very least.
Where we're supposed to be?
Yeah. This building will take us to the building next door.
And that game is Uncharted Lost Legacy from 2017. I beat that game on crushing difficulty like years ago, but there were like other trophies to get that were hidden and basically just like miscellaneous trophies that and basically required multiple playthroughs, so I was just like burnt out at that point. Especially since that year was just loaded with games, you know, the Crash Insane trilogy, Horizon Zero Dawn, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands I was playing, A Way Out, and such. But I haven't, no, you know, it's the one Uncharted game that I was like, I platinumed every Uncharted game, but I was like, you know what, since I know this is there's definitely not going to be another Uncharted game for a long time, I don't necessarily need to be in a rush to platinum it anymore. And you have to remember, like, 2017, like, that's when PlayStation 4 was really hitting its stride with, like, banger after banger after banger after banger game. you know, 2018 God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, which took a lot of time out of you. And 2019 was Death Stranding and Days Gone, and then 2020 Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. It was just like every year we were packed with these big, long uh, first party games and all the miscellaneous games too. Like think CTR, I had to go through uh, go into beast mode trying to collect every single not only platinum it but collect everything from the Grand Prix and all that. Like so much time just got away from me. So I eventually I'm like, you know, screw it. Let's look at the hidden trophies. Um, as long as the hidden trophies are something you can look at, that the game gives you the option to look at, I have no qualms looking at hidden trophy. As long as it's not a story spoiler trophy, like obviously I will never look at that. So I'll always play the core game first, and whatever trophies I can get before unveiling the hidden trophy. But the hidden trophies were just basically miscellaneous stuff. What the hell is all these noises? They were miscellaneous stuff like kill 20 people with C4, which I never got for some reason, and then like there's one trophy where you have to put 4 C4s onto one of the APC trucks in order to it's called overkill because you don't need that much C4 to take down that truck. But and another was get to the helicopter at the very end of the game without killing any enemies, which I did. I beat the game first, then looked at hidden trophies. Yeah, I beat the game first, and then because I played on normal first, then I played on crushing difficulty, and then I played multiple playthroughs getting miscellaneous stuff, and then at that point I was just like burnt out. I was like, I need to take a break. I know that there's not going to be any Uncharted for a long, long time, so I was like, I don't mind taking my time with this. But now I've gone back to it, and I forgot how you know the game is obviously shorter, but I forgot how short it is. It's only 9 chapters. It's really just that Western Ghats level, which is like the open world level in the beginning. That's takes a lot of your time. But that's basically the last thing I need to do is I need to go back to that level and find the remaining hidden picture locations where you take pictures. So that should be something I'll be able to get pretty soon. So yeah, and then once I get that, I'll have I'll have every single platinum trophy for every game in the year 2017, which I'll be proud of. I don't want to go through that door yet. Or do I want to go down this way yet? I don't know. What's the best bet? Maybe go through that door. Even though Liv seems to want to go through this door, I don't know what. No, I want to go downstairs. But yeah, I've been playing that. I actually beat the game again just for fun, not for the trophy, because I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna replay it, let's actually like I haven't played this game in like 7 years. Let's see how it holds up, and I think it holds up pretty well. But yeah. And by the way, did you use the bird in Astrobot? The bird that like helps you if you go through the level a second time? I didn't use it at all. I only used it once because I didn't know what the bird was at first. So I got the bird. I was like, oh, okay, it tells you where like the collectibles are, or like tries to point you in the right direction. And after that, I was like, okay, don't use the bird, especially since it takes up coins, which that's your currency. But I realized by the end of the game that the coins didn't really matter in terms of the economy of the game, because I had like 5,000 coins by the end of the game. Because I just built up so many. I used it one time and never again. Yeah, basically that's what I did. I used it once and never again. The game was very good at being naturally, like, hinting, or being naturally, like, of a puzzle that you can solve it if you just think about it. Or like, especially after playing Crash 4, where there's so many, like, gems and stuff that's off screen. This was more of a breeze. What do you say? I forgot what Liv said. I couldn't hear what Liv said. He's whispering. I used the PlayStation guides instead. Oh, see, I didn't use the guides. Which is probably why it took me a bit longer. I mean, the levels pretty much tell you what you're missing, and they're very good about telling you at what point you're missing something because the bots go in order from left to right, and so do the puzzle pieces. But yeah, I figured those out, and there's no shame in using the guides if you did. It's all how we choose to play. Um, but yeah, even that I like. I like that this is a game that anyone can pick up and play. I'm actually looking forward to showing this game off to my sister and seeing how she takes to it because she likes like Crash and Spyro, but I feel like with like Crash, she gets burnt out by like the challenge, the difficulty spikes. Whereas this, it's like the spikes aren't really that bad. For the most part, the game is very it's a breeze. So, all right, I didn't see anything really down here. Liv was just talking about something. Sorry, I keep going back and forth because I'm like talking and not really paying attention. But I guess I can go outside here. Did we come from here? Kind of confused. Let's go upstairs. I don't know. I'm confused. No, wait. I can't make a decision. I feel like this is too much for... No, I feel like we came from here. Let's go upstairs. There's nothing really up here, is there?
What the fuck? You know I can't do that, right?
There's a way around, if you don't wanna.
No, I don't wanna. Good for your cousin.
Good for your cousin.
This way!
Okay.
Here we are. Follow me.
How much higher are we going?
You're gonna be okay.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Yes.
Alright, he's going down. That's... Alright. I mean, he's going up. I should not go that way. Okay. And, the one thing I'll say also that caught my interest is, Tony Hawk was interviewed. I forgot what the interview was, but he basically said that him and Activision have been in meetings and they're working on something that the fans will really appreciate. And it seems to be hinting towards what I would think is a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4, which, thank God, if that's the case. I just hope Tony Hawk like throws his weight around and basically just smacks some sense into Activision. Like the game deserves a sequel. Could be Tony Hawk's Underground. I would like that too, but I think they should do 3+4. That's the thing with like Tony Hawk is that there's so many. There's 3+4, and then there's Underground. That's the very Underground to me is like the last game that I feel like would be very worthy of a remake. Whereas Tony Hawk's Underground 2 would be like the equivalent of Crash Bash in a way. Not to say that Tony Hawk Underground 2 is a bad game, or but it's not a game. I feel like you can just take those levels from Tony Hawk's Underground 2 and include it in an Underground remake. And you don't necessarily need, especially since Bam Margera has his problems and everything. Bam Margera is a big focus of the second Underground game. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but at least give us those levels, maybe some of the soundtrack. I feel like Underground and Underground 2 soundtracks are going to be huge, though, so I don't even know what to expect. But for now, just do 3+4 because I think that's something that is like doable. But I'm glad that something's in the works. That's something I'm glad to hear. Maybe by the end of the generation, we'll get another end of the generation Tony Hawk game, which would be cool. Pass along. The elders have agreed to a truce with the wolves. They will stay away from our island and won't engage with any Seraphites passing through their outer territories. To maintain this peace, we must all work together. Our goals remain the same. These are simply different means to achieve them. Huh. There actually some sense of reason within these different cults here. And groups. I basically just went around. I guess Abby wouldn't have done this. Yeah, she doesn't seem like she wants to. Very interesting that they didn't include Abby in Astrobot.
Wolves never look up.
What does that mean?
I know Abby is like a...
No matter how many people or guns you have, we'll find a way around you.
Maybe you should stop saying we, since they're trying to kill you.
I know Abby's not the most likable character with fans, but I feel like she's a very important character. And I just think it's, I don't know, maybe Astrobot just figured, you know, this game is about love and joy, and not to say that, not to say that Abby's the character of hate, but so is Ellie, and so is Joel, in a way, in what brought them to what they do or whatever. So I don't know. It just seemed weird that they didn't include the other playable character in the Last of Us franchise, the one extra one. She would fit perfectly in Astrobot with her golf club. Exactly, and that would have been a good sense of humor. Like I feel like, oh,
It's Lily!
spoke too soon. Alright, let's take these guys out.
Should have stayed away, Lily!
Lily? My name's not Lily! Oh my god, what am I doing?
You okay?
Yeah.
I like how every Astrobot is a costume of a PlayStation character, and Spyro is just straight up Spyro. Yeah, it's like I wonder. I was wondering if there were like two Astrobots inside Spyro, kind of like a horse costume where like someone's the head and someone's the butt. I wish they kind of did more with the Spyro. Like you kind of like I wish they gave him like a peripheral that you could have unlocked from the Gacha Lab. You know, he does his flame if you hit him, so at least he has an animation. He does fly around when you summon all of them. But I guess I would have liked, especially since they put him like tucked way in the corner on the edge of the cliff. I was like, oh man, I wish like Spyro was like closer to Crash and Jack and or you know with Ratchet or somebody, you know.
Let me help.
I got it. Did you hear what they called me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Lily.
Do you want to ask me about
I
it?
thought they were calling me Lily.
Do you want me to ask you about it?
No.
Okay.
All right, so Liv was Lily. Okay. The shaving the head, it all comes together. Yeah, happy with the golf club would have been. You know, I feel like PlayStation needs to have. They need to stop worrying about like the canon of their characters in other PlayStation properties. I feel like they need to have a sense of humor, and I feel like Astrobot was a good game for that. And it would have been. I think it would have been perfect for them to have a sense of humor. Where yes, The Last of Us 2 is a deep, dark subject matter of a game, but you can have fun with it outside of it without tearing it down or trying to be you know. And by the way, like the game is like it's all about celebrating all these games. I have to say, the Days Gone creative director is it John Garvin, Josh Garvin, or John Garvin, or Jeff. I know John Garvin and Jeff Ross. I understand that they're bitter about what happened with Days Gone not getting a sequel and them basically getting pushed out of their and forced out of their company. And you know, but the way the Days Gone creator was going on about like, oh look, they have my character Deacon St. John from Days Gone shelling for some smaller kids game or whatever now, like, and they're you know and being and basically like being very disparaging to Ben Studio, being have some integrity with your intellectual property and all that. That guy, he's got a lot of demons to work out with. Like, I get that you're frustrated with what happened, but Astrobot is celebrating the character, and you should be glad that the game happened to begin with, the one game. That not that you didn't get your sequel. Like, Days Gone was a fun game. It was a good game. A lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of people bought it too. The sales were great. So a lot of people liked it. You know, it's not my favorite PlayStation first party game, but just be happy it happened, and Astrobot's just celebrating that you're that game is part of the history. Easily could have not been included. Alright, other than that, I think we'll, before we move on, I think we're good. Alright, so we'll end it here. I'm toying with the idea of flip-flopping this game with Chivalry 2. And I might start that next time. I know last time I said, like, you know, I'm going to play with friends or whatever, but I think I'm just going to play it normally. Like, we'll do like a map rotation series where I at least feature all the maps in multiplayer, and it'll be me talking like how I always talk, just to myself, and maybe towards the end I'll do like a special episode where I play around, you know, like an hour or two around with friends. But yeah, I figure we'll do that maybe next time. But I definitely wanted to get all the talking points out of the way because so much has happened within the last 2 weeks. But yeah, Pulpit Pig, it's been a pleasure. Anyone out there who wants to like, comment, or subscribe, it's greatly appreciated. You can subscribe to KevPlays9490 on YouTube, or follow me on Twitter, at Let's Watch Series. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, keep a clear head, and keep on gaming. And we will continue our shortcut to help Yara next time. Alright, peace out.